So welcome back to Straight Switch Photography. After the last video, I think we needed something a little bit more upbeat. This is Keir Starmer, and he's just come back to the Houses of Parliament to face a barrage of questions from Kemi Badenoch. So what we'll do is we'll go and take a look at that. Let's do this.
Straight Switch Photography.
So Keir Starmer re-enters the Houses of Parliament to face questions over China and their whether they're dangerous to Great Britain or not, because there seems to be quite a large scandal about it. So what I thought we'd do is we'd listen to what it is Kemi Badenoch has got to say and Keir Starmer's got to say, and then ask some questions to ChatGTP just to make it a little bit more interesting. Let's do this. Let's get onto the actual place where I need to be, and let's press play.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for marking 4 years since the terrible murder of Sir David Amess. I know that the whole House will want to join me in remembering our former colleague. He is very much still in our hearts and minds. The way he died reminds us that the security of members and this Parliament is paramount. So it concerns us all that the case against two people spying on members of this House has collapsed. It is simply unbelievable. Exactly as I expected, the Prime Minister had to be dragged out at the top of PMQs to give a statement that answers no questions. I don't know what they're laughing. I don't know what they're laughing at. We are talking
because they think it's funny and they're sick in the head.
About the security of this Parliament. He had to be dragged out to repeat only more obfuscation. It is simply unbelievable. It is.
Now what I'm going to do quickly is ask ChatGTP why China is dangerous and to explain the social credit scoring system. ChatGTP, can you explain why the China social credit scoring system is dangerous?
Absolutely. The social credit scoring system in China essentially tracks citizens' behavior and assigns scores based on their actions, like financial behavior, social interactions, and even online activity. The main concerns are privacy invasions, lack of transparency, and the potential for misuse. It can lead to discrimination or social exclusion if someone's score is low, and it can also restrict access to services or opportunities. Overall, it raises a lot of ethical and human rights questions.
So, ChatGTP, would you say that China is a risk, a national risk to Great Britain?
That's definitely a complex topic. It depends on the context. In terms of technology, trade, and geopolitics, there are certainly areas where concerns arise, like cybersecurity, economic competition, and influence in international institutions. But it's also important to consider the nuances and the different dimensions of the relationship. It's definitely a topic that policymakers and experts keep a close eye on.
So, ChatGTP, with Keir Starmer trying to introduce digital ID, do you think there is a chance he will weaponise it and introduce a social credit scoring system here in Great Britain?
That's definitely a concern that some people have raised. While the idea of digital ID in the UK is often framed as a way to streamline services and improve security, the potential for misuse is always there. It really depends on how the system is designed, the safeguards put in place, and the oversight mechanisms. That said, it's definitely something that would need careful regulation and public scrutiny to avoid any negative outcomes.
So, ChatGTP, has Tony Blair's son got any interests at all in digital ID?
Ewan Blair, Tony Blair's son, runs a company called Multiverse, which focuses on apprenticeships. There were some false claims that Multiverse had been awarded a government contract for the UK's digital ID system, but both the government and Multiverse have denied those allegations.
Thank you, ChatGTP.
You're very welcome. If you have any more questions or need anything else, just let me know.
So let's carry on with the video, and we'll see what Kemi Badenoch is saying to Keir Starmer.
simply unbelievable that he is trying to say the last government did not classify China as a threat. So I will refresh his memory. In 2021, the previous government's integrated review described China as the biggest state-based threat to the UK's economic security. In 2024, the Minister for Security said from that dispatch box that China poses a threat. But
Look at David Lemmy.
let's leave aside the government. In 2022, the Director General of MI5 in November classified China as a threat in his remarks. How is it possible that the government failed to provide the evidence that the CPS needed to prosecute?
Wealth.
Let me get past this
It's not about the money. It's the space you always dreamed
Wait a
of.
second.
The substantive evidence was provided in 2023 by the previous government. That is when the witness statement was submitted. I am going to disclose it. They will all be able to read it. The substantive evidence was
After being doctored by Labour, yeah.
written and disclosed and submitted in 2023 under the last government. I noticed she didn't indicate whether ministers were involved in that at the time. Mr. Speaker, she questions what's in the review, the refreshed review in 2021 and 2023. Let me be clear. The then Foreign Secretary, sitting I think over here, the Honourable Member for Braintree, 1 month after the arrest, so absolutely the relevant time, gave a speech at Mansion House. It was called Our Position on China, setting out the government's policy. He said in that speech, summing up China as a threat in one word would be, his words, impossible, impractical, and most importantly, unwise.
Because they are a threat to the country, Keir Starmer. He doesn't want to go and basically add fuel to the fire, you fucking idiot. It doesn't take a lot to work that out, does it?
Foreign Secretary, Mr.
David Lemmy looks very uncomfortable there. I think he's got piles.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it wasn't just him. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition was business secretary at the time. In September 23, the leader of the opposition said, her words, September 23, the relevant year, her words, we should certainly not be describing China as a foe. It's worth looking up the word foe in the dictionary, Mr. Speaker.
OK, we will look up the word foe and what it actually means, shall we, Keir? ChatGTP, please describe the word foe and what it means.
Absolutely. And the word foe basically means an enemy or an adversary. It's often used to describe someone who opposes you or is in conflict with you, whether in a personal sense, a military sense, or even in a more abstract or metaphorical way. It's just a more formal or old-fashioned. Anytime. If there's anything else you're curious about, just let me know.
So there you go. There's what foe means. So I think Keir Starmer should look in the dictionary what it means. Let's just go back a little bit and hear what he says.
It's worth looking up the word foe in the dictionary, Mr. Speaker. Be describing China as a foe.
We shouldn't be describing China as a foe. So is Keir Starmer describing China as a foe?
In September 23, the leader of the opposition said, her words, September 23, the relevant year, her words, we should certainly not be describing China as a foe. It's worth looking up the word foe in the dictionary, Mr. Speaker. She went, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't end there, Mr. Speaker. In September 2024, the leader of the opposition said this, I quote, I have shied away from calling China a threat.
Now, why would you shy away from calling China a threat? Maybe because they're a threat and you don't want to make any sort of problems. That's like me turning round and basically calling China all the names under the sun and then China getting quite pissed off with us and doing something stupid. Maybe? So again, Keir Starmer hasn't answered one single question that Kemi Beganoff has actually put forward to him. My opinion.
She is playing politics with national security.
Playing politics with national security, said the man that keeps the borders open after somebody's just been stabbed over 20 times with a screwdriver at a train station. A bloke from Sudan, I think he is. And also other children that are being, let's just say, having things done to them by men from the migrant hotels. And you think she's the national security risk? The guy that used to work for MI5 and also has connections with the KGB and things like that, and also supported Jimmy Savile. And Kemi Beganoff is the national security risk. You disgusting person.
The Prime Minister can read the beginning of a quote. Let me finish that quote. At the end of that quote that he just read out, I did describe China as a threat. But this whataboutery that he is doing neglects the fact that those spies were charged.
So basically, Keir Starmer starts a sentence and then takes out the relevant information to make it sound worse than it actually is. Now, don't forget, this guy's a lawyer. He's an expert at doing this and about twisting the narrative and about playing the narrative. He's an expert in this.
Charged under a Conservative government. They were let off under Labour. He has not answered any questions. On Monday, Mr. Speaker, on Monday, the Security Minister repeatedly told the House that ministers did not take decisions, that it was the Deputy National Security Advisor who had full freedom. Is the government seriously saying that only one man, the Deputy National Security Advisor, had anything to do with this failure? Is he seriously saying that the Deputy did not discuss with the National Security Advisor, did not discuss with the Home Secretary or with anyone in Downing Street? Is the Prime Minister seriously saying that?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, let me explain why.
Yes. What the fuck? The robot approaches the bench. Lammy looks very shocked. You can't say that. Well, yeah, you can. He's just admitted to it. But now he's going to try and explain his way out of it, the way a typical lawyer does.
Firstly, the case was charged under the last government according to the evidence submitted under the last government, which set out their policy decision. What was an issue in the trial is not...
Wonder what Angela Rayner's up to nowadays.
The position of the current government, the position of the last government. And they carefully avoided describing China as an enemy because that was their policy at the time. Mr. Speaker...
The reason they didn't describe China as an enemy is to not make them an enemy. They're a communist government in China, and Keir Starmer loves communism. He loves it. He's got a teddy bear called Communist. That's its name. And he takes it to bed with him and fingers its bottom hole. He made the bottom hole with his little finger like that, and it's a boy teddy bear.
As far as the position under this government is concerned, no minister or special advisor was involved. And I will double-check this because I've had it. I will double-check this. So, Mr. Speaker, this is important. After the charging decision... You
can guarantee it isn't fucking important.
The prosecution were very careful about who would then see the witness evidence.
Just look at that bench there at the front. You've got David Lammy this side, the fucker in the middle, and the let's just say I don't know how to describe her. Just a nasty piece of work, a disgusting front bench. I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than stand next to, than to even be in the same room as any of those people sat on that bench.
I will double-check, Mr. Speaker, exactly what instruction was taken. But my answer, I can be absolutely clear, no minister was involved, no special advisor was involved in this, and I'm assured as I can be that the prosecution...
As assured as he can be. In other words, he's lying.
Was saying that it would be the witnesses only that were involved in short updates to the evidence that was submitted under the last government.
And there's also been evidence that he did know. He is lying. He is lying, barefaced liar, 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 pants on fire. He's a liar. He's a pathological fucking liar.
That's not good enough. Convene not.
Mr. Speaker, the end of the answer was different from the beginning of the answer. What on earth is the point of us having a lawyer rather than a leader as the Prime Minister if he can't even get the law right on a matter of national security? He keeps going to the CPS. The CPS have said that they are satisfied that they were right to charge in August 2024. The Sunday Times reported that Jonathan Powell, the Prime Minister's national security advisor, convened a secret meeting to discuss the security consequences of the China spy trial. Did the meeting happen, or is the Sunday Times making it up?
If you think it might rain later, then all you need is this bearskin heavy storm rain jacket. That's because this is the only...
Mr. Speaker, she's clearly not a lawyer or a leader. Mr. Speaker.
What, and you fucking are? You're a leader, are you? The most hated man in Great Britain that's ever been. And he actually is very confident approaching that bench that, oh, I'm very well liked here, yeah, by the other two people sat on the bench.
The problem for her is I do actually understand the law. I know what's got to be proven. I've also looked at the evidence. Was put in under the last government in relation to this case. There was a meeting in September. That did not involve the National Security Advisor discussing the evidence in any way, nor, Mr. Speaker, one further piece of evidence. The final statement in this case was submitted in August 2025. There was no further submission of evidence, one way or the other, after any discussion in September. This is a red herring, a completely scurrilous allegation made by the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has now twice directly contradicted the words of his Security Minister. They cannot both be right. The chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee couldn't get any answers from the Security Minister. The CPS said that they were satisfied that the decision to charge the case in April 2024, not August, in April 2024 was correct on the basis of where the law stood at that time. This is a matter of fact. It is not a matter of what the previous government had thought. It is not a matter of it not meeting a legal test. It did.
This is what's been reported on the internet as well. It's all over the internet now, and basically it's just evidence that Keir Starmer's nothing but a fucking liar. He's just a pathological liar, and he doesn't care whether he's caught out anymore. This could be the end of Keir Starmer's career.
Something must have changed when the charges were brought and when the case collapsed. The charges were brought under us, the case collapsed under them. Can the Prime Minister tell us what changed and what collapsed the case?
I guarantee he will not answer any of those questions. He will just spin it and then turn it back to them.
Mr. Speaker, I've said I will publish the witness statements in full. The whole House will then see exactly what was set out
after it's been doctored by you, Keir Starmer.
In 2023 in the substantive witness statement.
She didn't say 2023, she said 2025.
And exactly what was set out in the two supplementary witness statements, and she will then realise what she's just said is entirely baseless.
Mr. Speaker, the CPS has said in the clearest terms that this prosecution was dropped because this government did not provide the statement they expected. Why should we believe a man who at the last Prime Minister's questions said he had full confidence in the best friend of a convicted paedophile? Forgive us if we don't trust...
Oh, a convicted paedophile. Like we didn't fucking know.
The word he says.
And he wonder why he's letting all these people into the country and everything and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? This systemic government.
This all stinks of a cover-up. Given his statement earlier, will the Prime Minister publish today not just the government witness statements, but also the meeting minutes and all of the correspondence that he had with the CPS?
Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. The only process I want to go through is in relation to some of the individuals in the statements to make sure they know it's coming out. I can assure the House there's no substantive delay here. I know it is of concern to a number of people, acute of concern to them. I will have the statements out in full. There is a bit of proper process I need to go through. The honourable member will understand why that's necessary. Then they'll be published in full. She asks about minutes, etc. There is a usual rules and process for government. But I remind
There always fucking isn't there with him.
her that the substantive issues in this case were discussed at meetings under the previous government. So they're asking me to disclose the discussions that they had in relation to the witness statement in the first place.
Come in bed, not.
Mr. Speaker, you deserve better, and this House deserves better than the evasive answers that we have had from the Prime Minister. Even the former...
So I think that basically about sums it up. We've basically just seen Keir Starmer shit-slinging and lying yet again, trying to worm his way back into keeping his position in government. This guy can't last much longer with this scandal. This has been Straight Switch Photography. If you like this video, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.
Street Switch Photography.